So I'm going to get started here. So here in the virtual lab, you can see that you have, first of all, it should open up with this greenhouse handbook here. And it tells you instructions. Begin by reading the information in the greenhouse manual. Use the green arrows down here to flip through the pages. And then once you're done, you can exit out, but you can always go back to it, okay? So the first couple of questions in the virtual lab assignment, number 1, 2, those are questions that can be found in this greenhouse handbook. So you do want to read what's in here. So it says page 1 in greenhouse handbook right here. It asks you what is the ECB. Okay, so you can find that here in the greenhouse handbook on page 1 right there. So look here to figure out what that is. Then question number 2 says what is Bt corn? What does the bacterium do for plants? So that's in page 8. So if you're interested in all of this stuff, you can read through it, figure out what's going on here, talking about the corn plant and everything, but you can move on to page 8 and it talks to you about what is Bt corn, and that is for question number 2. Okay, going through it, you can learn some more information here, and this is really going to be helpful for you for the next couple of questions later on. Okay, so then I'm going to exit out of here. Then question 3 says, list the 4 types of corn. This will be on the top shelf. So that is going to be up here. Here are your 2 corn types, but there are 4. Okay, so it says list the 4 types of corn. And then in order to see the other 2, because it's only showing you 2, all you have to do is go down here to the reset button and you can reset it and it should give you a different kind of corn. You can keep resetting it until you can see all 4 different types of corn. Okay, so we have corn here. And then question number 4 says, what are 2 levels of ECB infestation? Okay, you can see this at the top of the chamber when you drag a jar of ECB to the chamber. So you have your corn. Here are your jars of ECB. Okay, you have 2 different kinds. This is one kind and this is the other kind. Okay, so what's going on is you have corn and you have this sort of pest right here. And you're trying to see if the corn is affected by these pests. So what you're going to do is you need to drag the corn to a chamber, and then it'll actually, if you see right here, it actually changed what type of corn is in there. See here it says none, but I'm going to drag that over there and then that also changes. So I have corn in each of these pots now. This is the type of corn I chose. You can choose whatever kind of corn. You can make it the same for both. You can make it different. Then my ECB infestation is going to be these jars. So I can pick this one here. There's a low infestation, and I can make it the same over here too, or I can choose the other one. Up to you, okay? But whatever you choose, that is going to be important for you to fill out in the actual table. Okay, so I'm going to reset this. Reset. Okay, so that's just to show you how to actually get this virtual lab going. So now I'm going to go back. And now you should know the 2 levels of ECB just by dragging the jars to each of the chambers, and it should tell you what level that was. That one was low, okay? So you're going to want to see what 2 levels you have. So you have low, and then you figure out what the other one is. Then once you go down to question number 5, what is your question for this whole lab? What is the question that you are investigating? So this is going to be the title at the top left of the page where all the text is found. Title at the top left of the page where all this text is. This is your question right here. So you're going to type that in this question number 5. Number 6, what is your dependent variable? Now you should know from the video and from your PowerPoint what a dependent variable is, and that is what you're measuring in the end. So this can be found in the second paragraph in the text. So in the text right here, second paragraph, if I scroll down, it should tell me what my dependent variable is in this paragraph, okay? Moving on, independent variable. Independent is what you're changing for each chamber, okay? What is it that you're changing for each chamber, okay? Are you going to keep the corn the same and you change the levels of infestation? Are you going to keep the level of infestation the same and you're going to change the corn in each? So you have to figure out what are you making different for each chamber, okay? So it says right here, what are you changing for each chamber? Is it the type of corn or is it the level of infestation? Whichever you pick, that is your independent variable. Okay? Next, you're going to create a hypothesis using if, then, because. So you're going to say if the level of infestation increased, then the mass of the corn will also decrease because your reason. Okay, so whatever your independent variable is, you get it from question number 7, you put that in there. Your dependent variable, get it from question number 6, put it there. And the reason you can get from your handbook. Figure out why it is that your corn will increase or decrease, okay? So that's for your hypothesis. Next, you are going to actually do your experiment. So drag the whatever corn you chose, drag it there. Drag whatever infestation, put it there, okay? And then you're going to describe everything that you just did. So tell me what type of corn you put in each chamber. Tell me the level of infestation in each chamber, okay? Moving on. 10. What is one thing that must remain constant? So say, for example, if you're changing the corn, then your level of infestation should be the same. That is your constant. Maybe you're changing the level of infestation, then the type of corn must be the same. That's your constant, okay? 11. Once you dragged your corn and infestation to each chamber, click the grow button. So I'm going to choose a different corn for each. And because that's my independent, my dependent, my constant, which I will keep the same, will be the low level of infestation. Okay, cool. Once I've dragged them there, now I click grow. And then you see the days pass and they're going to grow. All you have to do is drag your corn to each of the weighing dishes for all 6 of your corns. You have 3 trials in the first chamber and 3 in the second. And then you're just going to weigh them out and write that number down somewhere. Then the second one, write that number down. The third one, write that number down. Once you got all 3 from one chamber, you're going to calculate an average. That average you will calculate on your own. Remember, an average is just adding up all the numbers, so adding them all up and then dividing by how many numbers you have, which is 1, 2, 3. You should have 3 different numbers, okay? So once you get the average for the first chamber, you are going to write that here. So it says, what is your total average mass for the corn in each chamber? Include the average for corn in chamber 1. So once you got the average from corn in chamber 1, put it there, and then do the same thing for chamber 2. Find the average and also put it in here. Lastly, or not lastly, you have 4 more questions. Why do you think there are 3 pots in each chamber? Why is getting an average better than using 1 mass from just 1 pot? Try to figure out why it's better to use 3 pots instead of 1. 13. Once you get your averages, look at your results. Was your hypothesis supported? Was it not supported? Explain what happened in your results. So tell me what happened. Was the mass for the corn lower in a certain type of corn? Was it lower because of the infestation? Tell me what happened. 14. Why do you think these results happen? Use the info from the Greenhouse Handbook for scientific reasoning. Okay, so tell me why this happened. Is it because more infestation means that you have more pests that are stopping your corn from growing? Maybe you had corn that was not BT corn and that made it so that it had less of a chance of surviving. What is the reason? 15. What would you test in the future? Tell me, maybe you would do the different corn types that you didn't use. Maybe you would pick a different level of infestation. Maybe you would even test no infestation versus high infestation. Whatever you want, be specific about it, okay? So that's how you answer all of those. If you have any questions or maybe you messed up and you forgot something, you can always click reset and you can always go ahead and redo it. Try to get different types of corn, different types of levels of infestation. And then whenever you have a question, I'm always available through email, okay? All right, and that's about it. So, the end.